It's something else, and if our hospital turns out anything like that, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, it's state of the art. It makes it welcoming when you go into places like that. And like I said, you cannot go to any part of the riding without seeing the fingerprints of Jim Brownell and the Ontario Liberal government. It's that simple, and it's my intention to visit every nook and cranny of the riding.
Where did you get the idea for getting the trailer? Is that someone else is doing it?
No, it was, I have a huge team behind me. I have a huge team because there's no way that you can undertake a project or a campaign like this by yourself. It's just impossible. So we're always getting together as a team and brainstorming. And somebody put the idea out there. The idea was mentioned about Ed Lumley at one time doing like a tour on a helicopter, and that's kind of where the idea flowed from. And then again, like I say, when you look at the infrastructure landscape of this riding, you have to go from one end of the riding to the other to see it, and that's how kind of the idea came about.
Well, Mark, you had your first debate today against your counterparts, Elaine MacDonald and Jim MacDonald. How do you think that went?
I thought it went really well. I was extremely pleased with it, and I'm also extremely pleased that I think we were the first ones in the province to have a debate where the three candidates and the three parties were there. And I think, come October, voters are going to have a clear choice. That the Ontario Liberal government and the track record, and not only where we've been, but where we're going in terms of education and healthcare and the environment. There's a clear difference, and there's a clear choice to make. And we've made massive strides with respect to the economy. And all you have to do is look at the global economic situation to see that, what they're suffering through in the United States. I'm talking and keeping an eye on my granddaughter at the same time. We're on a busy street here,
So you guys right now are down 10 points in the last polls. What do you think are going to be the key issues to drive you back up?
I don't, it depends what poll you're listening to or where you're getting that information. It's, some of the statistics out there are so far away. Everybody that I talk to is encouraged with respect to where we are now, where Ontario is, hardworking Ontarians, the ordinary families that wake up every day and have to go to work. They see the difference that the Ontario Liberal government and Jim Brownell, especially in this riding, have done for the riding of Stormont, Dundas, and South Glengarry.
Can you talk about, is part of the reason you're going on the road and tour, you have been a former Cornwall City Councillor, you are a Cornwall resident, are you worried about face and name recognition in the counties?
Well, that's an interesting question. The fact of the matter is I was born and raised in Cornwall, but for anybody that knows me on a personal basis, knows that I was active with the volunteers in the area. I was active one time with what was called the Cornwall and District Snowsuit Fund, and I used to visit all the fire departments, all the volunteer fire departments in the area. But also, I did a lot of refereeing in my younger days, and I was in a lot of little towns, in Chesterville and Winchester and Finch and those areas. So I'm known out there as well. That's not the issue. The issue is that the infrastructure landscape has been changed so dramatically in the last 4 years. I want to see firsthand and talk firsthand to the people and ordinary people whose lives that it's affected.
I just want to get back to the trailer. Are you going to be parking it where are you staying overnight?
I know people out in the St. Andrews area. I know people out in the Monkland area. I know some people out in the Moose Creek area. A good friend of mine, Mr. Cecil McDiarmid, is from the Moose Creek area. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to go, play it by ear. And if I have to stay at some campsites some nights, so be it. I think the only way to get a feel for the riding is to be out there and make sure that you have opportunity to talk to lots of people.
Do you think at all, your unsuccessful bid as a Cornwall City Councillor, now Tim Hudak is way up in the polls. Do you think your political career is a victim of bad timing?
I think that the Ontario Liberal government's record and the record of Jim Brownell in this riding, that people are going to have a clear choice when it comes. There was a time in Ontario when you could not drink the water. There was a time in Ontario when you couldn't turn on a light switch. When you have one party that has a $16 billion hole in their platform, who talk about the only way to balance the books is deep cuts to healthcare, and they're already talking about attacking the fire departments, the police department. They laid off nurses, we hired nurses. They closed hospitals, we opened hospitals. And I think come October, and as we progress through the campaign, Ontarians, hardworking, ordinary people are going to see the clear choice and the clear difference between what an Ontario Liberal government does and what a Conservative party wants to do.
I guess you're worried at all, given this campaign, a lot of people voted for Jim Brunel. And Jim Brunel has brought results to the ride. They may not necessarily always agree with what the Liberal Party has done, but Jim has come through in spades for this riding. The differentiation, the separation between the party and the man, do you think you can hold that traction?
How can you not agree? How can you not agree with a party that's built hospitals, that's built health centers both in Lancaster, South Glengarry, and in Cornwall, that's built a hospice, that's built a paramedic station, that's built OPP station in Long Sault, that's built a new town hall in Long Sault? How can you not agree with the party? I mean, the Conservatives were fundamentally opposed to the way that the Ontario Liberal government handled the global economic situation. And we in Ontario, the fact of the matter is we in Ontario are leaders in the world. I mean, Ontario created more jobs in 1 month than the rest of Canada and the US combined. So I think it's all about not only the Liberal record, what they've done in the past, but what they're going to do in the future. Okay.